was introduced to the keyboard by my mother. She sang in the Baptist choir, and she could play just enough to accompany herself at home, you know, learning her hymns or whatnot. And the story is one day she taught me a scale, and I used to go to the piano every day, I guess at 3.5 years old, and play it perfectly. My mom wanted me to be a classical pianist, and back in those days, they would put classical music on a pedestal. And no, I said, no, nothing's on a pedestal, everything is music. Not the supreme, classical. I tore it down. Eventually snuck out of my bedroom window to go down to the barbershop. That's how I met George Clinton, get my hair processed and hang out till my mother came down with the switch, switched me out of the chair and George after the barbershop period. And then I went away to college. And it was in college when Testify came out. I just happened to be listening to the radio in the dorm, and I heard this song. I said, well, that sounds like George. Sounds like George's voice. What sticks out is seeing a sea of cars coming from Los Angeles or wherever to the LA Forum. That's where George and I in the limo going back to the hotel after sound check. And I couldn't believe that. Coming to see the landing of the mothership. I looked at George and said, see what she started? He looked at me and said, see what you started. So, you know, we didn't expect, we didn't go in to make a hit record. We were just making records and had never dreamed of that it was going to be that big. I'd arranged real strings, real horns, before the synth took over. Which, then everybody was saving money, you know, didn't have to pay the players, which sucked. Because there's nothing like the real thing. Ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. You know, Marvin Gaye. I would be behind the board and producing George's when it's time to put his vocals on. I was actually, you know, co-production of all that stuff, but never got credit for it. Other than P-Funk sessions in Detroit, it was kind of a rivalry. Every chance they could get, Holland-Dozier-Holland tried to get me away from George and do some sessions. Freda Payne's Band of Gold being one of them. The Honeycombs, chairman of the board, and also Johnny Taylor's Disco Lady. That's myself, Glenn Goins, and Bootsy. But we actually wrote that piece, the music. That's a Don Davis production. That was his studio, United Sound. And $2 million seller. They didn't give us writers. A $500 bonus out of it. So we don't want to talk about that. I get pissed off all over again. Well, I got tired of being called in the studio all the time to play bass synthesizer. They were wearing me out, you know, wasn't just P-Funk, other people were calling me. There's business problems also. Finding out how much money you're owed, you know, all that other crap. And so I left, I had to get away from it. Jerry Harrison from Talking Heads called, because the word was out, and asked me to join. I said, well, who are you? I didn't know who Talking Heads were, you know, new wave music. So I went to the studio and listened to some of their stuff and saw the way that they, you know, just jammed with them a little bit. sort of the way that they worked was similar to the way P-Funk worked. So that was interesting, and I knew what they wanted. They wanted the funk. I would get calls, and I'd say yes or no. Jimmy Iovine, wild man. Yeah, produced from the phone. I remember some sessions, Jimmy would fly me out to LA, and he'd have the artist, he's on the phone, "Hey, Bernie, go ahead, you know, go ahead and do what? What? You're the producer. Just go in and, you know, start building the track, work with her." I said, yeah, okay. So Jimmy's on the phone. I did a lot of work with, collaboration work with Bill Laswell, who I met through Nona Hendrix. Bill was free-spirited. He can't tell Bill what to do, and he's a conceptualist like George. And he knew that I could fit in with whatever type of music he was doing. And so Yoko Ono, I did Yoko Ono project with Sly and Robbie, Pharoah Sanders project, Fela. He introduced myself and Bootsy to Buckethead, who's one of my babies. I recorded with the Stones in Paris. I was over there on the Laswell project. We were doing Turikunda, African group. Bill was producing. We were in Paris. And then I go, supposed to start around 11 o'clock at night. Kiefer, they wouldn't get there till 1 in the morning or something. All the time, they're doing nothing about whatever you're doing, and the tape's still rolling. So, I want to try something again? Okay. So they called me in on Keith's solo album, Talk Is Cheap. And at the same time, I was doing a solo record with Joe Blaney, engineer-producer, Funk of Ages album, I think. And I asked Keith if he would play on a couple tracks on my solo record. He said, yeah, Bernie, no problem. He didn't charge. All he wanted was his thing and transportation. When the sampling issues started coming out and we found out what was going on, and I said, okay. Just want my money. That's, you know, that's cool, that's what's going on now, that's what time it is. But we weren't getting paid. And also, I guess a lot of people were kind of blaming the hip-hop artists, but they come to find out they weren't being told by the record company that we were supposed to pay, you know, the originator. When I do radio interviews or whatnot, they ask me what do I tell the youngsters. I said, hands on. You're pushing a button and getting a chord, they don't even know how to make a chord. You push a button, the chord's there. So whoopee-doo. So I can do this myself. There's a machine do it. It's stiff. It's digital, it's cold. And plus they're cutting out music programs, and man, what is that about? It's like taking sports out of a curriculum. Why would you take the arts out? Put some of that money into the arts, all the arts, instead of sending people to war. You know, And all those bombs and everything's not gonna make a difference because Mother Nature, she kick your ass 10 times more than a missile or a bomb. Look what she's doing now, she's talking. She'll destroy your missile base.